We're at EarthX 2026, and we're going to talk with Brad Hilton. Welcome, Brad.
Thank you.
You are the Director of Hospitality for the Global Sky Race.
Yeah, it's the Director of Hospitality and Experiences. And it's the Global Sky Games.
Sky Games. Now, we have it correct now. The Global Sky Games. And what are the Global Sky Games?
Well, it's really unique. We're bringing blimps back into the eye of everybody around the world.
Airships, you're talking
Airships,
about. Yes.
They've had their time. They've gone away. They tried to come back, and they just don't get enough attention. And there's a lot of value to them, but they're also entertaining. So, to have a race around the world using blimps is just kind of a new concept, and so it's just really exciting. So you could think of some of the other races that might be of a similar class, which would be, like the World Cup sailing races or other ones of that nature. And you have these teams that compete against each other, and we want to do that to help bring awareness to a lot of the issues like that EarthX has, and, just environmental and so on, and impact education as well, and really entertain the kids.
So is the impact, is this a story about, hey, what can we do with blimps? Or is this an awareness campaign for environmental issues?
It's really the latter, but at the same time, it's also to bring awareness back to blimps and their utility, right? They could be used for a lot more than what they're being used for now, and they're used for a lot of things, surveillance and recording of sporting events and things of that nature, but they're high in the sky. They're not down close enough to be personal or for people to appreciate them, and we want to bring that appreciation. When we come into a city where we land, we want the whole city to be able to see it. So to be able to fly not just one blimp, but 5 blimps and have them float over a house at 300 or 400 feet, everybody's going to come out of their house to see it, right? And we can advertise on the side of these blimps, what our messaging is for whatever kind of environmental issue is. So that's one way. And so you get all the eyeballs. But the other thing is to do scientific instrumentation that otherwise couldn't be done, to where you could be flying over the ocean at a particular heights and be taking measurements of certain things. And so there'll be a lot of that. And the information that comes from that, we can distill and make interactive with kids in a classroom. So that's a big part of what we want, is to bring this environmental awareness to kids, but make it fun for them to track the race and for them to have a team that they're favoring.
Okay, so you
report in every day. That kind of thing.
Let's talk about this race part, because I called it a race, and you said these are games.
Well, that's what we called it at first.
Yeah, sure.
Was the Global
but it is a
Sky
race, and that's fun.
Yeah.
So you have these maybe 5 or more teams, and they start. I think you said we start in England, right?
Yeah, we're going to start in the UK.
Okay, and then first destination is going to be.
It's a number of them, and we've got to finish checking the weather patterns and exactly how we're going to do this over a period of time.
Okay.
So the race will last, up to 6 months, right? Because it'll go from one city to the next, and a little break in between, that kind of thing. So it'll be a race between these cities, and then a grand prize at the end.
But the race element is that these different teams with their different blimps somehow need to find the best way to go, because it's navigation.
Yeah, there's going to be some
patterns.
pathways that they have to stick to, almost like a racetrack in the sky. We'll have it mapped out. We'll have all the digital things for them to follow.
But do we know why one blimp is faster than another, or that's what we're going to learn?
That's the catch. It's like the same with any other race. They're trying to tune it in, but they got to stay within spec. So everybody's kind of on par, but which one gets the advantage? And it hadn't been done before, so we don't know what the little advantages are going to be.
We're going to explore. Yes, but the messaging that's happening, with the blimps and the events on the ground, they're all related to environmental causes. Is that
pretty much? That's kind of the main mission here, is to create those and bring that awareness. Again, it's got a unique ability to bring people out of their homes and look up. Right? Everybody comes out to see. If you can hear it and see it and it's that low, neighbors will even call neighbors, hey, the blimps are coming over, you got to come out and check it out. So, everybody's going to get the message.
When did you first experience a blimp?
That's a great question. That's really why I'm involved with this, and it really meant a lot to me. I grew up in Houston, Texas, and we used to have the Goodyear blimp that would fly over our house, maybe every 6 weeks or every couple of months. And I remember I would be in the kitchen and you could feel the rumble of it coming, and you got used to knowing, okay, that's the blimp. Which direction is it going to be coming from? And a lot of times it would come and go right over our house, but at like 300 or 400 feet. So you could hear it, you could see it, you were aware of it coming, and then all of a sudden it would appear above the trees. For me, it was like a spaceship showing up as a little kid. So I was fascinated and amazed, and they had a little screen on it with Snoopy for, whatever they were advertising, but it was like a television in the sky. So everything about it was impressive to me and really helped motivate me to be interested in it. But blimps faded out, right? Their utility, it's just really advertising, surveillance, but at really high levels. And so people don't get to really experience them anymore for the value that they have. And we're hoping that this also spurs, this next generation of kids to look at blimps as a way for transport, because it can do things that others can't. With the technology advancements that we have from when blimps were popular, we can do amazing things. And so that brings me to one other thing that we didn't talk about before, which would be I'm involved with graphene. And so, most people don't even know what graphene is yet, but everybody knows what silicone is. And so we're moving away from the silicone age or era, which we live in today, which got us to where we are now. But every new age is defined by a new material, and the next material on that list is graphene. Graphene is known as a two-dimensional material, so it can do more than one thing at one time, and it's the strongest, lightest, electrically, fast, most heat-dissipating material on the planet. At 1 atom thick, it's 250 times stronger than steel, and we can stretch it, bend it, flex it, whatever we want with it to build things with it. And it can have that kind of strength. It's unheard of, and it can be blended into materials. So graphene in the next 20 years will probably become as pervasive in our lives as oil is today, meaning it touches everything. It'll just make everything it touches better, stronger, lighter, faster, and it's just carbon atoms is all it is.
And you're telling me that because you
can
we
make
want to make
blimps out of these, which then means they can carry heavy loads, they can be a lot stronger, lighter, faster. And there's a lot of utility for that in the world. And so I could see a time and a day where we see, high waves of blimps in the sky, performing actual utility more than the way it's being used now. That's what they were meant to be. Everybody got scared after the Hindenburg, and they fell out of favor. And but there's a lot to be done, and they're just really exciting to watch.
Yes, and that's all that awareness will come with the global sky games.
Yes.
So
the oceans, the atmosphere, it all plays into what we're doing. We're going to outfit these blimps with all these scientific things that can actually be used by scientists on the ground and transmit that stuff in real time, but as well as distill that into educational material for kids at school so they can follow the sky games or the sky races and pick their teams and have that in common in a classroom while they're learning about the environment. So
what is a new initiative has a vision, right? This is a new plan.
Yes.
When is the first race going to be? What do you hope?
We're hoping within the next couple of years. We want to get things piloted and started, so we might do some events with a single blimp, because there's going to be a lot of entertainment value when the blimps arrive at their destination, right? It's not just going to land and wait for the next segment of the race. No, there's going to be a full-blown celebration.
You need to plan.
And given that we're called Sky Games, there's going to be drones and a lot of things happen in the sky, entertainment, music, stuff for the kids during the day, and light up the blimps at night and have it be part of the festivities and be floating relatively high, with lasers and videos and things like that. So that adds a lot of the excitement factor to it, to where, people, can see the different things that a blimp can do and just be excited about it. Because right now, they look up in the sky, it just looks like a dot, so nobody pays attention.
So another 2 years you start, but I'm trying to get to the big vision.
Big vision.
20 years from now,
okay.
Then we've had maybe 18 global sky games. And what have we learned? What does that look like?
Hopefully
is this the World Cup of blimps that we then have?
That's what we're looking for. For instance, one of our lead teams right now is Prince Albert. He wants to form his own team. He wants his own blimp. and compete in this. And we have a few others of interest. They haven't committed yet, but we want interesting people of that caliber that are very environmentally focused, but also exciting, fun people that want to do something like this, not just for the recognition, but for the value that it's going to bring. Now, over time, like you're saying, in the next 20 years, we'll find more and more value. My ultimate goal, because I'm involved with the graphene side, is to make a graphene airship, right? Because that, like I said, is a game changer. It can do a lot of heavy lifting, especially to places we can't get to. So if, for instance, if we were to do something in Greenland, it's hard to move things around in Greenland because it's all ice and everything. But for a blimp,
Easy.
Very easy. You can get things remotely. And so there's just so much value that's untapped right now. And just on top of that, it looks very sci-fi at the end of the day. Blimps, we all know what they look like today, but the ones in the future will be a lot cooler looking. So I think the utility, I think the rebirth of the use of blimps as a transportation thing, both for people, for hospitality as an alternative to flying. Take you longer to get there, but it's much more entertaining and fun.
Fun. I mean, there's the pictures of
like
the
taking a cruise, but in the sky.
You could have dance nights on board.
Yeah.
So, whose idea was this?
Don Hartzell is the inventor of this. He was in the aviation industry, and he's, like me. This is how we really came together. Is we had the same experience when we were a kid. That we shared, and so he told me what he was up to. We got along. We're neighbors almost, in Houston. So I just something he told me about his vision. I became passionate about it, and we've made a lot of headway over these last couple of years to make it a reality. And while I'm doing some of my other things, which will all play into everything he's doing, to apply graphene to that, to take it and use it as an experience for people in my experience model. It's just kind of it's an experience in itself, and that's what I'm going to be specializing in. So the promotion of it, the making sure everybody sees it, that's going to be part of my job. So
did you ever dream you were going to do that when you were as a kid in the garden looking at that Goodyear blimp?
Well, I've had some interesting experiences. As you're growing up and you have your experiences, you don't necessarily see the interrelationships to things. And at this stage of my life, all of a sudden everything's kind of making sense in its own way. In that, I really enjoyed it. Never really thought I'd do anything with blimps, but because of the passion I had, and I know what it meant to me as a little kid, and it really got me on a technology front for what I do today. So, just from seeing it, right, and it looking like it's from outer space, just got me very interested in technology and how does that work. And that's just the kind of guy I am. I just see something I like and want to know how it works, and blimps were one of those things. And so to come back around and be able to participate in it, I've got like 5 of those kind of things in my life, and they all fit into what I'm about to launch. So it's like all those experiences all come together, and I get to take advantage of it, and they're all the things I'm excited about and passionate about, and I get to build my new life, my second part of my life, around all these things. And everything that I'm involved with was a story like that I started out with. Something that happened to me when I was a little kid. I got interested in it, did something with it for a while, and moved on to something else. But now all those pieces for the things in the puzzle that I'm creating for myself are all the things that I'm passionate about wanting to do, and they all fit together like a glove. I never could have seen it then, but it's so clear now. So,
when we try to achieve change in the world, right? And there's a lot of talk about at a conference like EarthX, we talk about these things and that we need to change this, that, and the other thing. So help me see where experiences come in, because they seem to be playing a big role when we want to change things.
They do. And, I've been tapped in on the experience thing for a while because I got a hint from my kids that, from their world and their friends, everybody's frustrated with the rat race and what it is and what they got to see when they're growing up, all our, housing crises and all these things that impact you and families. And it's a system, and they recognize it for what it is, that it is a rat race, and everybody's trying to fight their way out of this rat race and not having experiences. You lose all your time to it. And I think the kids, this next generation, has picked up on that, and they're kind of rebelling against it in that they don't want to own homes and cars and all that. They want to go out in the world and have experiences and live life. And that's really what it's all about. And so I'm really in tune with that. That's kind of the way I wish it would have been when I grew up. But, I got lost in the rat race. But they want out. I want to help them find that pathway by providing the experiences that they can go do. And the mission of the new business that I'm starting is to create everlasting memories for my guests. And when I say everlasting, meaning we're going to create a story that you'll never stop talking about for the rest of your life. And I want every one of our customers to feel that way, because I think I found a really important part in the hospitality industry that's being missed. And it came from statisticians and different mathematical calculations as to what really drives and motivates people. It's really just creating a memory they'll never forget. And it's easy to do. And it's missed 99% of the time for every guest that stays somewhere, that you have the chance to create that memory for them, and it just gets missed. And so that kind of hospitality has been never maximized. And I think I've got the magic bullet that makes that happen. And it's the mission, right? It's the absolute mission that everybody that participates or goes on one of our adventures or experiences, that it's something that they're going to talk about for forever and tell their friends and family, everybody else. And that's the real way to market something. You'd never have to advertise one bit on TV if you can have that happen. And you'll have loyal customers that make a brand like the Hilton name is now in the hotel business. We sold that business about 20 years ago to Blackstone Group. Very proud of it, and we sold it just at the right time. But since then, I've gotten heavily involved in technologies, materials, and I was kind of getting bored of it. I was like, I got to figure out a way to make this fun. So if I go out and create these things, it's also an outlet to demonstrate these things and let the rest of the world see and touch the things I'm seeing. These really advanced technologies that I'm looking at, people don't know what's coming. But there's so much of it, and it'll become commonplace, but it'll be like Christmas in its own way, in that there's so much coming at one time that I wanted to participate in it, because I think I can add value to all of it, because these are just the things that I was passionate about growing up, and I always wanted them to be better. And I think I know how to do that.
So you have another 20 seconds, very brief.
Okay.
What do people need to know about the Global Sky Games?
One, we have a slogan: embrace the race, right? Just pay attention, be watching for when we do come online. We want this to be televised. We want this to be in every school, for them to have this interaction, interactive participation in the race, with the studies that they're doing about environmental issues and things of that nature. And then to have fun with it, to create the entertainment and advertising value, because we do want to make money in this that we can keep reinvesting until we get to the point in time where we can, get into the business of redefining what an airship is with new materials, right? And that's really it. That's my lead into it. But for me, that's all fun things. So
that's good. Thank you, Brad.
Oh, thank you.